Welcome to day 5. So today we are going to talk about the different levels of commitment. I guess I didn't realize that there were different levels within commitment. I've always thought of it as you're either obedient or maybe you're acting disobedient, but it seems that it goes a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's talk about this in terms of family. Okay, can we? And there's different levels of obedience. There's 3 different levels of obedience, and there's 3 different levels of disobedience. Let's talk about the levels of obedience. The lowest level of obedience is what we call compliance. When the child complies with your family rules, as long as you live in my house, you'll live by my rules. And if they live by your rules, they're compliant. That's obedience. That's the lowest level of support.
So what you're saying though is they can act obedient, but they don't necessarily enjoy the obedience. They can just be doing it because they're told to.
I'm a dutiful child,
Okay.
So I'm doing that. Parents know best, and so you're gonna do it my way. Now, moving up from that, we would actually like to have it where the kids are more than dutiful, that they're operating out of their own will because they bought in, they own it. It's part of their belief system. It's part of their values. They buy into the standards and the values and the methods because they understand them. See, when a person has bought in and they own it, we call that internalized commitment. Getting from obedience to internalized commitment, there's a process where they have to go through and understand the whats and whys and hows and justify it in their own mind that it makes sense. That's what we call conversion. So our goal as coaches and parents and players is to go from obedience to that level of buy-in to where I own it. It's mine. And the coach is my helper in being all I can be.
Okay.
By the same token, if you look at the lowest levels of disobedience, if we get stuck on this power mode of obedience and saying, hey, as long as you're here, you're going to do it my way, and we try and enforce the rules and we try and force people to do things, people resist force. It's a natural tendency to resist force. And what they will do is they'll say, yes sir, they'll salute you, and then they'll be sneaky disobedient.
So here's your curfew, but you think I'm in bed, but really I snuck out, I'm hanging out with my friends, or I'm doing something completely opposite of what you told me to.
Right, and when I get out with my friends and we justify how stupid that rule was, and once we justify that we're right and the rule is wrong, then we no longer are sneaky disobedient. We come out and say, that's a dumb rule, and now we're openly disobedient.
And so at that moment, I have a little bit more confidence and to approach maybe my parent and say, I don't agree with the curfew.
Yep.
And I'm going to break the curfew no matter what you say.
And it's in your face.
Okay.
Well, and you know, when it goes beyond that, when you finally get to the point where nobody is governed by any laws or values or beliefs but their own, we call that rebellion. It's chaos. Imagine an organization where the parents have their own set of values, rules, and wants and desires and goals, and the player has theirs and the coach has theirs, and they don't match up. Chaos. That's exactly the opposite of what we're looking for. So again, in our organization, we're aiming for the highest level of commitment where people go through the conversion process and buy-in process to where they own it.
Okay. So the challenge then would be take a look at the different organizations you're involved with. Maybe your family organization and maybe your athletic organization, and look at yourself and say, what are the things that they believe? Am I bought in to be able to be internalized to those values, to those standards? And are there any part of those organizations where you're just openly rebellious, and why? Or are you sneaking around and saying you're doing something but really you're not? So identify those things, do your homework, figure that out, and if there are moments where they are finding that they are a little bit rebellious, that's when we go back to the problem solving from last time and say, well, let's sit down and collaborate and make it better.
And going forward, our next session, we're going to talk about managing expectations.